Alright guys, this is a battle report of Order of the Green Lady versus Ogres. This battle is an excellent example of how to defend against a flying army. Stay tuned.
Hello there! I like to watch battle reports to get better at games. So I started making short, summarized battle reports that focus on learning points. So welcome to my channel, Newbie Dice. Do like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you enjoy my videos.
Do consider speeding up this video with the YouTube settings to consume this content or other YouTube content in a fraction of the time. Alright, so as I said, this is a great example of how to defend yourself against flyers. So let's get into it. So I am practicing for a tournament happening on 13th of January 2024. Clash of Kings Southeast Asia will be held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So if you are thinking about heading down, you can join us at this tournament. Send me a private message. I'll hook you up with the details. It's going to be a one-day tournament, and it's 2,000 points, 4 rounds in one day. So because it's a 2,000 point tournament, I am practicing a 2,000 point list. This is the exact same list as my previous battle reports. So Bray Hunters for a little bit of shooting. Order of the Brotherhood with Pathfinder, Order of Redemption with Liliana's Tier, 2 Forsaken Hordes, J-Boots and Brutal, 2 Beasts of Nature with Flying Attack 7, 2 Pegasus, 1 Druid, and 1 Avatar the Green Lady. So 11 units, only 9 of them score, total unit strength only 18. So my opponent, oh sorry, it is a Ogres list, so let me just cancel that over there. Ogres. So my opponent's list is 1 Hunter's Horde, 3 Regiments of Warriors for the unlocks, 2 Siegebreaker Hordes. As you know, Siegebreakers are much more expensive nowadays, so that's why he didn't have enough points. He went with a Hunter Horde for the last one. Okay, and yeah, hopefully it's also the one with Pathfinder, right? So hopefully you can deploy it in terrain and charge out stuff like that. Boomer Chariot for the Stealthy Aura with Sacred Horn. Oh, this is a repeat. So 3 Sergeants with Crossbows and 3 Ogre Warlocks, all with Drain Life, one of it with Scorched Earth, hoping to grind it out. So 13 units, all of them score 22 unit strength. So let's take a look, but before that, let's have a quick shout out to my local game store. If you're from the Asia Pacific region, do consider checking out Hammer House website for your hobby needs. They carry a wide range of miniatures and hobby supplies, including Mantic, Vallejo, Scale 75, and Green Stuff World products. Okay, we are playing Salt the Earth, and the tournament is with no withdrawal. So we are also playing on the clock, and I must admit I'm a bit more of a slower player, so the clock puts some pressure on me, and I definitely probably made quite a few tactical errors in my game due to the time pressure and not being able to think on the strategies a little bit longer. So the Salt the Earth, we have 6 tokens that can be burned. They are the green ones. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is located here, and the center red token cannot be burned. So you burn is to remove it from the game. Nobody can score it. Okay, so my opponent won sides, and he picked this side because he liked it, because there's this impassable blocking terrain here. So he deployed Refuse Flank this way, all within this bracket. Okay, he could deploy it all the way to the end of the map also if he's more afraid of flanking maneuvers, but he has the better shooting, so I don't want to get shot up on the way in. And that's I'm sorry for the crop picture, but this past this obstacle is clearing. So firstly, if I want to flank him, I'd have to go around this building. Okay, and there's nothing that gives me cover over here. Alright, so on top of that, right, yeah, he gets on the hill, he also ignores the obstacle, right? And my opponent, he forgot to bring his model, so we brought all the various models together to run the list. So these Zeech looking things are warlocks. So all 3 of his warlocks are over here. So lightning bolt potentially 6, right? 2 warrior regiments here and 1 hunter horde here, easily getting the 6. So he'll be doing lightning bolt 18 with no cover if I were to expose myself. So I was very wary of the shooting. Okay, perhaps over worried, but that's the way it is. I have cropped off the picture. My Centaur Bray Hunters are off. They're just hiding behind the building because I don't want to get shot at the top of one. And the Pegasus is out there or back there somewhere. I think perhaps it's behind over here. But it's basically hidden. I always keep my Pegasus far behind, especially on deployment, so that it doesn't get sniped off top of one. And so my other Pegasus is over here, as you can see down here. Okay, so Forsaken. So I don't think I can swing around there so easily on this side. Okay, because of the heavy shooting, and he can just use the warrior regiments to chaff, right? Whereas so I thought that my goal was to go through here, but of course the building does make things difficult. So I tried to pressure the center and the left, so hoping to sweep in from here instead of the refused flank deployment, although he could have gone further out to the edge. I think it's still more than enough to screen himself from my ability to flank. Okay, so yeah, so that's some of my thoughts. He completely gave up these 2 tokens on this side, right? So he's aiming to hold minimally, right? Hold this 3 and the center, he will win. Correct. So he's heavily deployed here, heavily deployed here. Okay, and as a bonus, he might be able to threaten this token that I have. So this the thoughts going in. So yeah, usually I deploy my my Forsaken on the 1/3 line, but now I think I'm focusing more on the center, so I just brought more firepower to the center, which may be a mistake, so we'll see how things turn out. Okay, so another thing that I decided to do, so let's talk about the right side first. So I decided that I will not try and flank, because once I go out I'll get heavily shot at. Is it the right decision? I don't know yet, right? Yeah, because if I were to send my Beasts of Nature over here and my Centaurs over here, let's say, probably not so high up, right? Probably here and here. Okay, yeah, he could move his warriors up on the double. So one trick you could do is you move your warriors up such that it is off the hill. Okay, and then when your warlock stands behind them, they are considered on the hill, and then there will be no cover when they shoot at things. So lightning bolt 18 into Centaurs, defense 3. Yeah, 9 hits, 8 wounds, a good probability of waiver. Yeah, and then my beast also can only charge the warriors. Then maybe I could try to go around some more. Maybe that is what I should have done, but I just felt it was a bit of a challenge going in, especially when he is shooting and he has layered his forces quite a bit. So I decided to come around this way. Okay, so my Centaurs came this way, my Beast of Nature came this way. Okay, my Pegasus flew this, as you can see, just off the screen, flew this way. So my plan this round was to use my 2 Pegasus to hold the 2 tokens, and then I used the rest of my force to fight. So this Pegasus is on an odyssey, a journey to eventually pick up this token, to stand on this token at the end of the game. Okay, so this Brotherhood moved into the terrain, and Green Lady is here. The 2 units moved up onto the hill. I think off the hill, I think. Not too sure, because if I'm off the hill I can get cover. He does have his 3 sergeants over here that shoots, right? So these beasts trying to go for flanking maneuvers, and this horde is it moved up 10 and turned to look towards the center. So let's see how he responds. So he moved his warlocks up and he shot at this unit over here. and I think this 2 sergeants shot at the unit over here already also. So the sergeants are suffering cover, so they've hit on 5+ with elite, but with cover 6s, even with elite, that's not expected to do much. So he dealt, let's see, 4 damage in total, and then over here 1 damage to these beasts of nature. So what happened was this sergeant moved up behind the building and overlooked this way. So it is doing flank protection duty. So the rest of these 2 units are screening behind. The flank is protected by the building, right? So yeah, so let's see what I do in response. So the thing is, I felt that, it will be really difficult for me to punch in from the flank, because okay, if the beast were to charge this sergeant, 1 charge is not expected to kill, and this is within 12 inches of the siege breakers that's behind over here. Okay, so punching the sergeant is not great. Then my only other option is to maybe turn. So if I fly more than 20, right, I can only face the back. Okay, then I would not be able to contribute, right? Then maybe the sergeant turns around and shoots, the boomer chariot turns around and shoot, and next round I'm not even fighting anything. So that's a bad deal for me. So I did check, so he just moved his units just instinctively due to time as well. Just he pushed in this way, felt that okay, this looks like a defensive position, good enough. And then we measured out this front arc. So the Forsaken is actually in the Warriors regiment's front. If it was in the flank, I couldn't charge it, right? But it's in the front. So I thought about it for a while, and I think I just decided to go all in at this point and start punching, trading blows, because so it's like a cascading effect, right? I'm gonna charge 2 units down here, I think, to kill the warrior regiment. Okay, and then this one will charge at the sergeant, and then this siege breakers would come if I just do it that way. So I use the Forsaken unit to charge at the siege breakers to hopefully soften it up as well, and if I'm lucky, maybe even waver it. Okay, so that's exactly what I did, I think. Okay, the Redemption Knights held back in reserve, so because they are my hardest hitting unit, right? So I thought, okay, I'm gonna charge in with the heal. So I'm Thunderous and crushing total of 3. Okay, but what I did make a mistake of was that I placed it too close to the Forsaken in front. Okay, because after my Forsaken killed the warriors, it backed up. Okay, hoping to make things a difficult fit for his units. Okay, and then I bumped into this unit. So actually I sort of stuck my own unit a little bit. Okay. And yeah, the Order of the Brotherhood charged and hit 1 sergeant, and I didn't even kill it, which was very unfortunate. So the beast went in over here, and even my Green Lady flew here to deal Cloak of Death. So I did have a good opportunity to do quite some damage over here, but I didn't waver it, which was unfortunate. Okay, so so these units continue to position. Okay, so at this point, these siege breakers will charge into this Forsaken, right? And then I think this horde of hunters are within 12 inches of the flank of this Brotherhood, and then together with these warriors, they are gonna double charge if there's space. I'm not sure. I think there's no space because of this angle over here. So these guys are just gonna make way, and then the hunters are gonna charge here, and this chariot will double charge together with the siege breakers. Okay, chariots hindered though. I'm not sure how good their melee profile is. Probably at least a crushing one. So let's see what happened. Yep, so the double charge killed off the Forsaken. Okay, and then I think the chariots moved up while the siege breakers either stood in place or back off. I think probably stood in place. Okay, this sergeant, Okay, I think this sergeant got wavered, so it couldn't ground the beast. Okay, so that's why this unit was staying back to overlook the beast. Okay, my Order of the Brotherhood was killed, and he charged into the Order of the Forsaken, but didn't kill it, so which was great. Okay, I think they got Scorched Earth. I think that's the yellow token over there, so they're not gonna hit very hard, these Prey Hunters. So with that, my Order of Redemption could still turn and charge here. I think there's still some space between Forsaken and them, but I should have spaced it out a little bit more. Okay, because of that, they had to turn almost a 90 degrees, and that's hence this Sergeant is all that they could charge, which is quite a shame. If I was spaced it further back, I could at least charge into these Hunters, right? Or rather, he blocked the space anyway, so I don't think I can. Yeah, the Forsaken held, so let's see, oops, how much damage they were on. 9. Okay, they might have wavered or my opponent rolled a low nerve check. Okay, so let's see what I did in return. Why did this just flew over? Let me try to, oh, it rear charged the siege breakers because the siege breakers are fresh. So it charged the siege breakers in the rear, and the Forsaken in the front killed it off. Okay, and at this point I realized that, hey, I should have been bringing my Pegasus into the fight to chaff things up to buy me a turn, and not try to hold the 2 tokens. Although it seems like it's free, right? But I felt that I need more help in the battles. No point I hold the 2 tokens and everything else that I have died. So I start to bring 1 Pegasus towards the center. Hopefully just to threaten angles, and maybe I could still back off to take the token. Okay, so yep, for Brotherhood Knights, Redemption killed the Sergeant in the flank, and then this charged into the Warriors. This one charged into the Hunters to hold them up. Okay, so let's see what happens. My Forsaken Knights were still within range of these Siege Breakers, so the Siege Breakers went in, took out the Forsaken, and the Hunters wavered the Beast of Nature. It's on 8 wounds and wavered, right? So let's see what happens in my response. So this beast has a flank on the not the trolls, these are hunters. So it took out the hunter, and the beast just reformed, right? Let's see. And this unit took out the warriors. Okay, the 2 warriors I think charged front and flank into the centaurs, died. So this took some damage from the Scorched Earth centaurs, so the Redemption Knights finished it off. This was wavered, so it just shuffled a lot on the spot. And so this is the positioning. And next, so the other warriors just charged and held up the Redemption Knights. This unit killed the Pegasus, right? And I think the Sergeant... Did the Sergeant charge? Where's the other Sergeant? Let's see. One Sergeant here, one Sergeant here. Yeah, either the Sergeant charged into the flank. I think the Sergeant charged into the flank, and then all these shot into the beast or something like that. Or anyway, they could cast Drain Life, right? So I think the Chariot charged and then Drain Life. Okay, anyway, at this point I have only 3 pieces left, right? So 1 beast here, 1 Redemption Knight here, and 1 Pegasus here, waiting to suit to the final token. Okay, so things are not looking great for me. So right now, my Pegasus flew up to threaten here a little bit. My Redemption Knights, right, charged into return counter charge into the warriors, and I decided to overrun, because if I overrun enough, I'm out of 12. As you can see, this is a 12 inch. I'm out of charge range of these siege breakers. Okay. So at this point, I was thinking, hey, if I were to burn one of these tokens, right, and my Beast of Nature is on this token over here. I don't know if I burned it off. Okay, so I would be holding potentially 1, 2 from the Pegasus. Okay, and he will be holding the center and this one. So I could still try to go for a draw. I have very little pieces left. Okay, so my beast survived the attacks here, and it turned and moved 10. That's what it did. Okay, so but this will have to survive a rear charge from the sergeant, right? And that's not great, because the sergeant has 5 attacks. From the rear, it's 15, almost the number of attacks as a horde, right? But it's CS2, but on top of that, it is elite. So 15 attacks elite, almost as if a horde is hitting me. And then he has 3 drain life casters over here. So with that, just that sergeant and drain life support, he popped that unit, right? And his Boomer Chariot is poised to pick up this token as well. Okay, my Pegasus is here. So with not much units left to score, I conceded the game, right? So yeah, so refuse flank, right? Against Alpha Strike, the refuse flank deployment, where you deploy, what's refuse flank, right? Refuse flank is, right, you have the board, right? So you deploy towards one edge of the board. So this flank is naturally protected by the edge of the board. Okay, so it's either one side or the other. So he deployed refused flank, and on top of that, there's a piece of blocking terrain on the open side. So it makes it hard for me to flank here as well, as you can see in my game. Okay, so, and my next mistake was, as an elite army, I need my Pegasus to be going in to block up the siege breakers instead of my Forsaken Knights, right? I should be sending Pegasus to block these units. So I shouldn't keep them out of the game to score the objectives. Because on a, let's rewind back. Right, I'm thinking I hold this, but if I don't break his army, he's gonna hold the other 4 tokens at least. So what's the point of me holding this token if you know, I need the support to break the opponent's army? So as Alpha Strike, I think I need to kill the enemy first and foremost. I don't have spare pieces to say, okay, this is just gonna sit on the objective. So that's what I felt was a mistake. Could I have tried to gone in on the flank that's towards the edge of the table? Maybe. That was another thing that could be considered, right, to come out. I think I overestimated his ability of shooting, because I don't know, I always fear I'm always very wary of getting shot at. So but perhaps I'm a bit too wary of being shot at. It might be my mistake. And perhaps he couldn't get to a position where his warriors can march off the hill. Firstly, you need to add the double, because to get off the hill it's more than 6 inch. And within 6 inch, the warriors need to stand in a way that there is less than a 50mm gap, so that the Beast of Nature can't charge the Warlock. So if any of these weren't true, then he will start to suffer cover shots, right? So that's another issue. Okay. So on hindsight, actually I thought that the triple Warlock plus triple Sergeants have a pretty good shooting game, but realizing that the Sergeant's ranged attack is 5+, although it's a piercing 2 and elite, but that 5+ makes it not as good, especially if he's suffering cover penalties. From 5+ to 6+ is a huge dip in hits, basically a 50% dip. Okay, so yeah, another mistake I made was that I guess it didn't come into play, but was the Redemption Knights on the hill. It was a bit too close to the Forsaken in front, so it would have limited their options of what they can do because of the difficulty in pivoting. So remember to space them out a little bit more backwards. Okay, so always assess how to win the scenario at the start, midway through, and the late game. So at the start, right, I thought that I'll hold this 2 and try to get this. Okay, my goal was here. Right, my goal was this part. Okay, so that was my goal. Midway through, I changed gears. I decided that I need to kill. So Pegasus start to come in, and then the late game, I still try to figure out what way I have to win or at least draw the game. Okay, and even when the late game, right, he has so many scoring units, right? 1 hot left, but so many scoring units because still 1 sergeant, 3 wizards, warlocks rather, and a boomer chariot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scoring units left. Okay. So one of the things we realized was the Ogre regiment screen, right? They might dislike being wavered, right? Because being wavered might prevent the back units from charging in. So wavering might sometimes be a good result against Ogre warriors. So sometimes you can try to engineer that the average wound would only waver the warriors, and that might buy you an extra turn. So these are some things you can think about when you're fighting against the Ogre list, especially if they're running Ogre warriors for those unlocks. With that, I hope you enjoyed this battle report. I think it's a good one to showcase how you can defend against flyers and how I feel as a flying Alpha Strike army that I'm being blocked off of my opportune moments, and how I would like to play, and how I scramble to maybe perhaps ineffectually to think of an alternative attack plan. Right, shout out to my patrons: 1 Peep Anonymous, 2 Peep Luke Schaefer and Thomas Douglas, and 4 Peep Alessandro Serpe. Thank you to these patrons to help support my cause of bringing educational battle reports to the world. So if you do enjoy my mission, do like my mission, you can consider supporting me on Patreon. So if you like this video, do watch another one. I do have a tactical video of how to defend against flyers, which happens to be my most popular video on my channel. Yep, do like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that jazz, and leave a comment of what you thought of the game. I also have a Newbie Dice podcast. You can check it out. And this is my Patreon website, patreon.com/newbiedice. So for the podcast, you can just search Newbie Dice podcast on your iTunes, Spotify, or any podcast listening app that you use. Okay, and that's it. I hope this has been a great battle report for you, and I'll see you in the next one.